Welcome to our new episode. Today we will be talk about World Most Dangerous Mountain K2 Bottleneck section. But before this, let me shortly introduce you about K2 and Bottleneck. At 8,611 meters above sea level, K2 is the second highest mountain on the Earth. After Mount Everest at 8,849 meters, K2 also became popularly known as the Savage Mountain after George Bell, a climber on the 1953 American expedition, told reporters, "It's a savage mountain that tries to kill you." K2 is the deadliest. Approximately one person dies on the mountain for every 4 who reach the summit. K2. Bottleneck, an infamous 300 ft narrow couloir, lies at the 8,200 meters altitude. Climbers who choose the Abruzzi spur route to K2, the Savage Mountain, must pass through the Bottleneck on their way up and again on their way down. So let's start the video to explore Bottleneck of K2. Before starting, we need your support. So don't forget to like video and subscribe channel. Thank you. Ice block above Bottleneck that can tumble down any time. On the Bottleneck, climbers have to traverse 100 meters, exposing themselves to risk. The steepness reaches 60 degrees at some points, and the fact that you are in the death zone above 8,000 meters on such a steep trail with the help of a thin rope to hold on. A 300-foot-high serac of the east of the summit hangs over Bottleneck that can come tumbling down any time. At any moment, any climber can fall victim. Despite all dangers, technically a Bottleneck is still the easiest and fastest route to the summit. At such an altitude, your body struggles to function normally, and there, at the Bottleneck, lies the steepest and the hardest section on K2 climbing route. Not to mess up with the king of mountains, the K2, the Bottleneck has witnessed many deaths. One among every 4 K2 climbers never makes it back, and most of them lose their lives just here. Out of the last 14 deaths on K2, 13 have occurred at the Bottleneck or somewhere near it. One of the worst climbing disasters on K2 occurred in 2008 at the Bottleneck. A big chunk of ice shelf sheared off and killed a climber instantly and swept away the rope network. The climbing members who were descending had no rope support, and it was already dark. The series of events occurred while climbers tried descending without the help of ropes, and a total of 11 climbers died that day. Bottleneck commands extra attention from climbers, so you may ask why climbers use the Bottleneck instead of all those dangers and such a terrifying record. The route to K2 through the Bottleneck is still the easiest and the fastest route to the top of the K2 and back. By traversing through the Bottleneck, climbers can cut back the significant amount of their time that they would have to spend in the risky death zone otherwise. All the major routes, Abruzzi Spur SE route, Cessin route through SSE Ridge, and the American variety on the NE Ridge pass through the Bottleneck. The Bottleneck lies just 400 meters below the top of the K2, and there are no more options to reach the top other than the Bottleneck. The hundreds of feet high overhanging glacier is certainly not the possible route to the top. There is a possible way to the top by rock climbing the cliffs that lie on the left of Bottleneck. But this climb is technically too difficult. Only once mountaineers have used this route. That was nearly 80 years ago. K2 Bottleneck versus Khumbu Icefall. Which one is more dangerous? The second highest mountain in the world, just 237 memelus, less than Mount Everest, has been renowned to be far more hazardous than Everest. Comparing Bottleneck with Khumbu Icefall, as per the altitude and climbing conditions, Bottleneck creates more risk for the climbers due to its unpredictable weather, avalanches, and rockfall, heavy snowfall, slipping down steep ice slopes where self-control is impossible. Other major factors are lack of oxygen level, altitude sickness, disappearance, etc. However, both are equally dangerous and difficult mountains to summit the peak, and we can lose our lives without any mistakes also due to various factors in this dreadful region. K2 Bottleneck in winter. Winters on K2 are much more dangerous and climbs are rarely even attempted. The temperature goes down to the bone-chilling -60 degrees Celsius. Savage peaks wave daring, but rare is the climber who picks up the calls for winter. It needs more experience and courage to conquer this mountain during winter. In winter, it is nearly impossible to summit. But this conception has failed our bravest Nepalese member. On 16th January 2021, Nirmal Purja, along with 9 other Nepali mountaineers, made history by climbing K2 in harsh weather conditions in winter. This is the first successful K2 winter expedition after numerous attempts since 1987. Nepali climbers made history over the world by climbing the most precarious mountain in the world. Fall in love with the mountain. K2 in itself is one of the deadliest mountains in the world. To all those who want to conquer K2, the second highest mountain in the world, the Bottleneck stands as a big challenge, not just while ascending, but while descending as well. Despite of second highest mountain, it possesses more danger for the mountaineers compared to summiting world's highest Mount Everest. So, make sure you respect nature, the mountain, and this very part of K2. For K2 decides what to do with you while you are there on it. So if you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more exciting content. Stay tuned and keep exploring. See you in next video.